as always, the things I teach and talk about are incredibly confrontational with currently accepted spiritual practices, wherever it's taught, in whatever religion it is. And this one's no different. This one video, I'm talking about people say, what's the purpose of life? This particular physical life, this realm we live in. And this particular video is explaining one of the reasons we come here. And that is to prepare us to spend eternity in hell. And no other avenue provides the opportunities that allow us to choose to go to hell, whereas in this particular one, it does. Now, I'm being a little bit derogatory there, and I'm being a little bit facetious, but in a way, not really. So let me explain. Prior to our existence in this physical realm, for example, it is said, whether it's true or not, that each kalpa of time can run 15 billion years, or a long kalpa is considerably longer than that. And in that particular episode or period of time of development, we have the opportunity to choose oppositional things from what God is. That never existed in any prior or in all prior existences that we went through prior to being in the physical format. And so let me explain deeper. Being in a presence of the Creator God, being in the presence without a physical body, we learned, just like we learn here, we continued to learn for untold kalpas of time. And I say time, but it's not really time because it's an eternal cycle that we're on. And so it could have been trillions of years that we were in the process of developing once we left or escaped the outer darkness slash Brahman slash nothingness, whatever you want to refer to it as, the prior condition of our souls before we accepted the opportunity to exist. So throughout that entire period, up until this physical realm, the only opportunities to grow or develop were in a positive format from God. God didn't give us the opportunities or teach us things that are derogatory to God. God didn't teach us to hate God. And there were no opportunities for us to choose opposition to God. And so we were in a classroom for who knows how long, forever essentially, when we consider the length of time it's taken us to get to this point where we are right now. And there was no way to know what the inner proclivities are of your soul. of your innermost essence of what you are. Packed around that inner essence is a multitude of things, be it a spirit, be it you got your soul, be it a physical body, be it whatever it is you acquire to. It would be like a person that has all kinds of tools and then a truck and maybe a spaceship. Well, you're none of those things, even though you operate all those things. Likewise, you're not a soul and you're not a spirit and you're not anything. That's why you can't define the essence of what you are. And it's for the same reason you cannot define what the God of creation is. You can't put your finger on it. It's not possible because it's infinite. That's like saying, how big is space? Since space is endless, since the universe is endless, how big is it? Well, it is not only illogical, but it is ridiculous to make that statement, how big, when it's infinite. Likewise, on your essence, the essence of what you are comes from nothingness, and therefore you can't define it. And how you define it is the process of the infinite amount of time of what the essence does. And so consequently, for an infinite amount of time prior to the existence in this physical realm, the only opportunities that were allowed to you, not only allowed, but just offered to you, allowed you to be in a positive format because you're in the presence of the Creator God. And in the presence of the Creator God, there's nothing there except goodness, holiness, love, respect. All of these things that define character attributes of God, those things were there. And that's why a lot of people have those things in their character traits. It's because for an infinite amount of time, that's what they developed. Now we come to this physical realm, where the God of this physical realm is Lucifer, or / Shiva. Shiva is the God of this particular realm. Another God in Christianity would be likened to or Jesus or Christ. When I say or, it's because Jesus Christ is not Jesus Christ. That's not like Bill Dunlap, because Dunlap is his last name, but more so Christ is it's a category, if you will, or a name given to Jesus prior to his existence here in this physical realm. So it's not Jesus Christ as though it's his last name. It's the Christ, and then stop and then say Jesus. Going off on a deep end here, but anyways. So yeah, and that's why Jesus said, my kingdom, or I'm a God, but not of this realm. This realm, the God of this realm is Shiva. Lucifer. They're one and the same people. They're the exact same people. And the problem I have in some of my videos and feedback is negative feedback coming from people of a background in Hindu, background in Sanatana Dharma, or background of India, or anything from that particular dialect of spirituality, seem to have a very negative outlook toward me when I define Shiva as Lucifer. But that's like the concept of the individuals that are blindfolded, and one has the hold of the elephant tail and another has a hold of the elephant trunk, and they all have different definitions of what the elephant is, and none of them have the full measure of what it is. And so from the Hindu Sanatana Dharma, from the Indian direction of what spirituality is, they look at Shiva and they have a hold of the trunk of the elephant, and the Christians have a hold of the tail of the elephant, and the Christians say, oh, well, that's Satan, that's Lucifer, and the Hindu has a hold of the trunk, and they say that's Shiva, and they argue with each other. Well, that's not, no, that, yeah, and they say, well, but it's just different viewpoints of the same individual. So, yeah, the god of this world, Shiva. Now, here is an incredibly interesting thing. Now, it is said that Jesus said, no one has ever seen God the Father. No one has seen, and of course somebody put in there except the Son. Well, they had to do that because they needed to put more credibility on the character of Jesus, but it's totally false. Jesus Christ never saw in this physical realm God. Never happened. Never in all history. So, Jesus is here. He has a view of what he thinks God the Father is, or the creator of everything. In Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, the creator God would be Brahma, okay? And so there are, again, different viewpoints of this creator God, but nobody knows in the physical realm, other than through inspiration, other than through using intuition, other than through visions or revelations, other than in that format, no one has ever had one-on-one as to be instructed. And there's a reason for it, and it's a paradoxical reason for that being that way. Nevertheless, that's the way it is. So we're here on this physical plane of existence, learning opposition to God. We are given the opportunity to choose to be hateful, to choose. Now, I'm not necessarily saying Shiva or Lucifer is a horrible, evil person or this or that or whatever. That's for God to choose. I'm just saying, me personally, I have no animosity for Lucifer. I have no animosity for Shiva. I personally do not want to spend an eternity with either one of those figures or either one of those views of the same individual. I do not, to me, they are opposite to the creator God, the creator that uses love, which is interpreted in ancient writings as light. And so there's, for instance, you shine a flashlight and the flashlight goes out into the darkness. People are attracted to the light, to the love, and they come to it. There's two different methods. And then Shiva or Lucifer uses like gravity. And so, if gravity is pulling you towards something, it's a force. If you were just to be an entity out there and you just relaxed yourself and did absolutely nothing, you would be drawn in to the power of the gravity. And requires great force. Think about a rocket ship that leaves the gravitational pull of the Earth. I mean, the power is immense to escape the gravity of the Earth, and it's just blowing fire and millions and billions of pounds of thrust, and to get it up there and to escape. Well, in this particular physical realm where Shiva / Lucifer is the god of this reality. It takes that type of effort to escape the powerful draw of gravitational pull, which is the power of Lucifer, which is the power of Shiva. Now, what is that power? That power is comes with money, wealth, greed, power, rules, laws, regulations. The list goes on and on and on. Now, all of these things are from individuals, human beings. They take those powers and they pervert them even further by wife beatings, by child molestation, by murder, rape, pillage, plunder, whatever the case may be. It's twisted so horribly evil and everything. And can we attribute that that evilness directly to Lucifer or directly to Shiva? No, I don't think so. Although whatever this reality provides for us to be drawn in by the gravitational pull, again, like a rocket ship, it requires extreme power and effort from the individual inner soul, the inner essence, to escape the draw or the temptation of illicit sex, or the temptation of power, of greed, of exercising your authority over people, etc., etc. Now, we don't just live one life. We have, I don't know how many lives we have. There's reincarnation, and so there could be, as a human being, maybe you lived 100 lives, maybe you lived 1,000 lives. Who knows? And then there is the concept of karma. Well, karma is not as it appears. I'm just going to briefly cover karma, because karma is something that is not a bad thing. It's a very, very good thing. And the reason is because, let's say you lived one lifetime as a human being and you had money and power and everything like that, and you used it horribly and you murdered people and you did all this thing. So now you're born again as one of the victims of the rules and laws that you personally created in a former life, and now you're the victim of these issues that you put out there. So then a third life comes around. You culminate and continue to build upon your ego, if you want to call it that, in multiple lifetimes, and it absorbs deep into your soul, and you never, 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 never lose the essence of what that evil is or what that good is. It just continues to bind and bind and bind. Now, the purpose of karma is to give you some of your own medicine, so to say. And is that going to cause you to go, oh man, I don't like being treated this way. I don't like being murdered or this or that or whatever, And so consequently, it gives you an opportunity to go, oh, that's not a good thing. So in your next life, now the roles are reversed again. And now in this particular time, are you going to be good or bad? Are you going to whatever? And of course, some people use that karma that comes to them and they double down, so to say, and become even more evil and more horrible. Well, this is not the cause coming from Shiva. This is not the cause coming from Lucifer. This is the cause of coming from the essence of what you are. You're the one that's making all of these choices and decisions to define what you are. Now, there is a concept in Christianity that says heaven or whatever. Well, there's no such thing as heaven, and there's no such thing as hell. There is becoming one with God, and if you want to call that heaven, that's your prerogative. But that's when the end of everything, when this kalpa of time is over and the universe ceases to exist. Now, here's a super interesting concept that Shiva, for instance, or all those that follow that thinking of it's good to have laws and rules and control other people and all of these things. See, Shiva has an idea of what Brahma is. Lucifer has an idea of what God is. And they're doing what they think is right to become one with this God. But here's the thing. It's an illusion that they created in their own thinking. So, for instance, you could believe with every fiber of your being that there's a pink unicorn in your driveway that you're going to ride to work tomorrow. And you could even go out there in the morning and actually get on the pink unicorn if you're delusional enough and ride off into the sunset on your pink unicorn. And of course, there is no pink unicorn, and of course, you're delusional, but you're the one that created this reality. So you created it with all the things that you've made up in reality or whatever. Now, that pink unicorn is the vision of what you think being one with God is. Who is this creator God that Jesus prayed to? Who is this, and what do you have to be like to be one with this God? Well, according to Shiva, according to Lucifer, it's a pink unicorn. And when all is said and done, and the creator God says it's over, it's not mean-spirited for him to quit dreaming this reality into existence in a dream any more than you would be guilty of sleeping at nighttime and having a dream of somebody, and it's like, well, it's time to get up in the morning. And it's like, well, what happened to all those people that were in your dream? What happened to all those animals and everything? They just ceased to exist when you woke up. It's like, what a hateful bastard you are for making them cease to exist. Well, of course you're not. It's just that's what happens when you wake up. That particular dream that you dreamed into existence no longer exists. Well, the Creator God is functioning on the same type of scenario. And you, if you, at the end of the kalpa of time and all reality or whatever, if you have visualized this particular Creator God pretty much exactly like the God is, which in my visions and revelations and what I have had so far, this particular God is absolutely the essence of love. Well, how do you define love? Well, how do you define God? That's the same thing. You cannot define love. I can, but that's like me defining a lemon to you if you've never tasted a lemon. I could say, well, a lemon is very tart, and it makes you do this or it makes you do that. It makes you squint and you go like that. Well, that's just me. There's no way for me to transfer that to you. So, likewise, what is the Creator God? And you go through eons of time, hundreds of lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes, for billions and billions of years, from the time when you were a monkey or a dog or you were a beetle crawling on the ground, whatever the case may be. You were a blade of grass at one time. Okay, well, all of this is building the essence of what you are into what is God. What is God? And when God wakes up, if you see God the same way God sees God, you're going to be one with God. You will be eternally in the presence of God as a separate entity or essence, yet one with God. That doesn't mean God created you. What that means is God created everything, but you're not something. To be a part of everything, it has to be a something. And a something is a light switch, is a hand, is a spirit, is a soul, is a word, is this or that or whatever. But I'm nothing. Me, the essence of me, cannot be defined other than the things I choose. And if I choose to create God out of nothing, and I create this God exactly the way this God is, then when God wakes up, I'm there. Because I didn't dream God as a illusory reality. You have to be able to, that's why Jesus prayed to God. That's why you pray, is because there's a humbleness, there's a love involved in that. And do you need visions? Do you need revelations? Do you need enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment? Do you need these things to be able to properly be on the path to defining what God is, so that when God wakes up, you're there too, rather than for you reverting back to the nothingness, outer darkness of Brahm and, well, that's the whole point of this reality. This physical reality gives you an opportunity to choose. Is this God or is this? Prior to that, you had no, it was always this is God. But now you don't remember that reality. When I say you don't remember, what I mean by that is you have proclivities of what drives your choices in everything. And that proclivity is defining the essence of what you really are. And if what you really are is exactly like God, then you become one with God when God wakes up. That's a simplistic explanation of what reality truly is. And it's built upon the foundation of love. That is what God is. God is not this powerful, wielding a sword that cuts two directions and creates all these rules and regulations and all. God is not that. God doesn't even need to be that, because you know what? Think about that. When God wakes up, the dream is over. You can dream all you want, a reality that God is this powerful Shiva. But you know what? Shiva ceases to exist when God wakes up. Anyways, that's the video today. Thank you for watching. I hope you get something out of this. Bye.